All right. Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles, and elders a great millstone, and as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all Yoakim out there who pushing this word with truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And it's the brother Kwara Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And I want to go into another lesson, the Lord willing it do be edifying. And it was something that I was just meditating on as far as, the things that are going on, in the world. Specifically speaking about, those Epstein files, right? And how you got a lot of higher up Edomites that's on that list, and certain information have been brought out about them, about the wicked acts that they have been committing. And which I say this is not surprising, right? Now that the Lord have opened up our eyes to see the real, spirit of Esau, as he once framed himself as this, generous and etiquette person with etiquette and nation of respect and so on and so forth. But the Lord have shown us that this man is a peasant. He the lowest of the low, a nation of filthy animals, man. So this information that we hearing and things that's coming out, as far as the Epstein files go, with Trump and all these things that they've been doing with them children, again, it's not surprising. And I say this, there's just a little bit of information that they want out, right? Think about what information have not been brought out on Esau now, right? And it's not just Esau, it's mainly Esau, but these other nations as well. Certain people of other nations partaking in these events. Like Apostle Paul said, it's a shame to even speak of the things that they do in secret. Imagine if the world really found out what these people do, these elites, so on and so forth, behind closed doors, man. But nevertheless, the point I want to make in this lesson is that people crying out for these people to go to jail and get locked up and get in trouble. You see? People want something to happen to these elites and the Epstein and the Prince and Trump and all. What I want to touch on is that nothing gonna happen to these people. I've seen people saying they need to go to hell, right? They going to hell because of what they done, or they need to get locked up. They not going. Look, nothing gonna happen to these people, right? Especially elites. And the thing I was thinking about, now some of these elites may be left here, when people start revolting, like I said in 2nd Ezra 15, how eventually the course of the citizens' actions go stand in their power, and they're not going to regard the kings or princes no more. So some of these so-called government leaders and elites will get caught up in the madness as far as the Civil War go. Right? But the thing is, none of these people about to get judged, put on trial. Trump about to go to jail and be judged like Diddy. But what I was thinking about is, right, they ain't going to jail, they ain't going to hell. These elites really been saved for slavery, for captivity. You see, most of them, the majority of them will be spared for captivity. And I'm going to say this, it ain't just Epstein. The only one who have an island and they doing that. Just you have other elites who ain't have to go to Epstein Island because they got other shit going, other places. The point is, nothing gonna happen to this dark society of wickedness. The Lord is saving these higher ups for slavery, man, for captivity. You see, not no trial in America. They getting judged. Oh, they gotta go to trial, and the judge is the person who was at the island with them. Ain't nothing gonna happen to these people. The point is the Lord is saving these people for slavery, man. They gonna be the first people that's gonna be drugged into slavery, man. Let's get this real quick. This Isaiah 29, I'm gonna start at 15. Right? It says, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel, and their works are in the dark. And that's why they call themselves the Illuminati, man. Yeah, they the ones that burn the light, but they hide themselves in the dark. You see? They hide behind the scenes, changing their names, right? Changing their family names. So I'm talking about these elites, those who even Epstein worked for. Again, all these people, especially these Edomites, they're not going to go unpunished. Though they're not going to get judged in this world because it's their world, the Lord ain't forget none of that, man. The Lord going to judge these people for the things that they are doing. And it's just talking about as far as the children caught in traffic, so to speak. You know, got to watch YouTube guidelines, but the children caught in traffic, the sex parties and all this wickedness that Esau have been doing, even the things that's not out there. The Lord go bring one. I wholeheartedly believe he go expose them. Yeah, of course he go expose them in this time, but real judgment ain't gonna come. Real judgment ain't gonna come. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get another one after this. How judgment is turned away backwards. I'm paraphrasing that, but let's finish this. This Isaiah 29 and verse 15. It says, "Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us?" Right? Just because Esau think is his world, that as far as the people goes, you know, the citizens, you know, once we start bringing up the truth and what he really doing, since Esau run the media, run the world, he could frame it any way he want to, you know, and it's not real judgment that's going to be brought to these people. Again, they run the world. They run the financial system. They all linked together. They could pay off a judge. Again, the judge probably was at the island with them. True judgment ain't gonna come from this current world with the leaders of the world caught in the main wickedness. Going back to the point, we know according to prophecy, most of the elites, I'm not saying most of them, I don't know how many, but a lot of these elites, when all hell breaks loose, gonna hide in the bunkers, and in their mind, they go escape everything, right? Escape the information that was brought out on them, escape the judgment from the Lord, escape the retaliation from the citizens, all to be pulled up out of there once it's all said and done, and be brought to the face of the real judge, man, Yahweh Shai, and be brought to the face of the real judge. Let's finish this though. Well, we finished that, and they say, who seeth us, right, and who knoweth us? But let me get this, because I was going into how true judgment ain't gonna happen here. Judgment is falling. I think that's it. Yep, this is Isaiah 59. And I'm going to start at 14. It says, "And judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter." Right? It's not true judgment that's going out into the world. Again, think about it. With this information that just came out with the Epstein thing, you should have had people, you know, in a sense, not just talking, but doing something about it. All these citizens said, the people of the world, man, these Americans, oh my God, for real? Right? When they read it, just, oh my God, and they kept scrolling. You see? These people don't really care. You know, you have some people bringing an uproar and they mad, but the majority of the people, they just keep scrolling. Therefore, Esau feel he could just do what he want to do, and it ain't going to be no true judgment against him. But let's finish. It says, yeah, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And the Lord saw it, and it displeaseth him that there was no judgment, man. You see? So again, as we see in the world, there is no judgment. And the rulers of the world trying to run from their judgment. But it ain't gonna happen. Let me get this real quick. And this is impromptu too, you know? I'm just flowing. They ain't gonna run from it. That's what the Lord got to say. This Jeremiah 49 and 10. It says, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. See, they can't hide no more, man. The Lord is bringing the information out on them, their actions out on them. And it's just, and again, we're only getting so much of what they allowing to be let out. Think about how much more information is out there that they trying to keep secret. And remember, Yahweh Shai said it's going to be nothing is secret that ain't going to be brought to the forefront. You know, a lot of these elites, the celebrities, they ain't just go do all this wickedness, do all these sacrifices, and just escape into the sunset, and they good. No, man, the Lord is bringing up all what people have done to the forefront. And it's going to be showing who people really are in these last days. A lot of some go get judged now, but it's cold because a lot of these elites who do got the means and resources to escape certain judgments in the world, the Lord go save them, right? To be taken out bunkers just to be brought face to face to with Yahweh Shai, man. And then get put to death right there. Or if not get put to death right there, go into slavery. You see, then they go wish they would have just died in America. Now you got to be old and in slavery. Never worked a day in your life in this current world. And you could be brought in captivity, a former elite, right? Ain't had to do nothing in his life. Now you could be a slave. That's a lot of these elites' reality. They not going to get judged on this side. The Lord go have them get judged when we pull them out the bunkers on the side to come, man. Once we come out the church. But let's finish this. Because Esau ain't going to escape. This Jeremiah 49:10. Just like Trump. He gave an interview earlier. And they asked him about the Epstein files and what he think. He was like, man, look, I think we need to move on as a country. They ain't really, progressing us. You just move on. Just forget about it. No, ain't no forgetting about it. Ain't no forgetting about it. And again, forget the Epstein. Are we talking about all the wickedness that Esau been trying to cover up and hide? But let's get this. It says, Jeremiah 49:10, because I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. So now the Lord is uncovering all the wickedness of Esau. And it says right here, verse 12, for thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And it's the Lord talking to Esau. Now, who are the ones that wasn't supposed to drink of the cup, right? First, what is the cup, right? The cup is the Lord, his wrath, slavery and, his judgments. So he's saying those, and remember, he talking to Esau. After he just said, I expose Esau, I'm going to make him bare. He said, look, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup, and that's the Israelites. The Lord ain't created us just to go in captivity after captivity and punishment after punishment, but we did because we went off. So he telling Esau, my chosen people who I didn't create to just go through all these judgments, because they went off, they went through all these judgments. And why should he go and tell Esau? So he going to say, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? ? It says, thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it, man. So the Lord telling Esau is no escape. And again, we know the average Edomite, they gonna die within one of these plagues in America. Right? We know they ain't gonna escape judgment, but I'm more so hitting on these elites, that all this information coming out on them, these higher ups, these celebrities, so on and so forth. A good bit of them go escape the certain judgments that's gonna happen on this side in Jacob's trouble, because they go enter into bunkers. But still, the point is the Lord not letting them get away. He not gonna let them get away. Let's read this. This is it's a lot here. Got some trucks passing, but let me get this real quick, just to show how Esau gonna try to, once all hell breaking loose, and eventually it's gonna lead to missiles falling. Because think about it, the elites, they ain't gonna know the exact day the missiles gonna fly. So it ain't like, now some of them may make it on the day, once the button's pressed and they get the emergency alert, they could try to, if they're in close, vicinity of they bunker, I'm sure they could get there. But a lot of these elites, once all hell break loose in Jacob's trouble, they go in the bunkers before the missiles fall. You see? And hope to escape the last judgment, which is missiles. So let's go ahead and read that, right? Because we to the point to where Esau getting exposed. Now this is this Revelation 6, right? Now check this out. It's Revelation 6, and it's going into Jacob's trouble, and eventually the last day, which is World War III. And it says Revelation 6 and verse 14. It says, and Salaki, that one started to pick up. It says, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Here it is. And the kings of the earth. So sometime during Jacob's trouble, it says, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. We got to go back over this list. Just going into the elites. You got the elites, certain politicians, certain celebrities, right? Certain military chief captains of the military. All these higher ups who had an important spot in making this wicked world go round. And also, since they elites, they go have who up in there? Servants, slaves, and people to do their business still. The point is, they go try to hide themselves once all hell breaking loose and once the judgment come. And they think they go escape everything that they have done in this world. Everything that they have built America upon, they think they just go escape. And once the smoke clear, they just go pop back up in a digital world. No. The Lord will have them think they escape and open their eyes, and you standing in front of the Lord, man. Once you taking out that bunker. Let's read this. Revelation 6:15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is coming. Who shall be able to stand, man? You see, and that's the point. It says, who shall be able to stand? The point is they go try to hide themselves. But as we know, let me get this, Jeremiah 16, Yahweh Shai, once he crowned his elect, he go send them out the chariot to go gather up these people from the bunkers. These same elites, man. This Jeremiah 16 and verse 16, it says, behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And that's what we doing now, pushing out the word, fishing for the elect. But what's going to happen when the elect gets saved after that? It says, and after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain, right? From every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks, man. And that's the same thing it just said in Revelation 6, where they was going to hide. So now the scripture says we was going to hunt them. So when they go into these bunkers, they going to be brought out these bunkers by the elect, by the 144,000 prophets. Let's get one more, or maybe two more. Just to show the elites going to get grabbed up. Judgment might not come to them in this world, but judgment going to come to them when we come off them chariots. There's Psalms 149, and I'm going to start at Psalms 149, and I'm going to start at 4. It says, for the Lord taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. So we're going into salvation, right? So we're going into salvation, the elect get saved. It says he shall beautify the meek with salvation. It says, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud on their beds, going into us in our rest. It says, and let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hands. Check this out. To execute vengeance upon the heathen and judgment upon the people. Here it is, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. The same elites of this world eventually going to be the same elites that's going to be in chains in our world. The point is, some of them go escape judgment here after all the wickedness, but they going to be brought to the main judge. Let's get that real quick and not end it. They're going to be brought to the main judge, Yahweh Shai, when it's all said and done. Let's get 2 Ezra 13. Did I finish that? Right, it says, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. You see, so it's the judgment that's written. Nobody can change that. Esau can't run from this. He can't redact, anything, the judgment that's coming to him from the Lord. You can't take that away. Like you're trying to take certain Epstein files away. Let's get this, though. This 2 Ezra 13. This 2 Ezra 13, it's going to show, once we bind them up, we're going to take them straight to Yahweh Shai. And that's when Yahweh Shai said, look, those who don't want him to reign over him, slay them before him. But let's get to this 2 Ezra 13. And it's going into Yahweh Shai coming down off the chariot. It says, 2 Ezra 13 and 12, and afterward saw I the man come down from the mountain. So Yahweh Shai coming down from his chariot, and called unto him a peaceable multitude. And there came much people unto him, whereof, check this out, whereof some were glad, right? That's going to be the some elect, or certain people that's been Israelites that's been spared, who wasn't in America, or wasn't of the elect across the world. They're going to be spared, shown mercy. It says, and some were glad, some were sorry, and some of them were bound. That's going to be the same ones who was grabbed out them bunkers and brought and chained up and brought to Yahweh Shai. It says, and some of them were bound, and others were brought to him and offered as a sacrifice, and other some brought of them that were offered. So some people going to be put to death. It says, then was I sick through great fear and I awakened. So that was Ezra that seen that vision of that. So again, some of these elites, they could try to escape judgment, go into the bunkers, but eventually Yahweh Shai, once his elect is saved, send his elect back down, take them out the bunkers who thought they escaped judgment and be brought to the judge himself. And as Yahweh Shai said, either they go be slave before him or get ready for captivity, man. You see? And that's Bible prophecy. But I'm in it right there, Lord willing. This lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Chakwadash, and with that, Shalom.